Watch this video before you get an apartment in Lagos. Hey loved ones, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if this is your first time on my channel, do well to click on the subscribe button below this video, and just like that you're the latest loved one of mine. I'm going to be discussing the major points to note before getting your apartment, especially in a place like Lagos. I'm talking based on my experience, so it's solely based on my experience, the information I was able to gather during the process of my house hunting. Let's get right into the video. So the first thing I want to mention is the budget. Just like other major life expenses, you have to have a budget, especially if you don't want to fall off track and just be reckless about your financial decisions. Having a budget would help you narrow down your options. Like, you'll be able to know that, okay, this is what I'm going for, this is what I can afford, and if anything less or anything more is coming, you can reevaluate and decide if this is what you want to. Does that make sense? So the points that the points that you need to actually make a budget include checking the extra fee that is usually attached to this rent, because sometimes the extra fee is almost 50%. I said sometimes, but usually it's more than 25% of the rent. You'll be hearing stuff like there's security fee, agency fee, utility fee. Like, it can be a lot, can be so much really. It's usually for people that are new to the apartment that pay this thing. So except you are getting from a friend that is packing out or moving out, then you don't really have to bother about all of that. You want to know if the apartment you are going for is a 1 year rent or 1.5 year rent, or even 2 years, because some landlords will decide that, okay, this particular house, I'm putting it down for 2 years. Anybody that is not ready to pay for 2 years, you're not going to get this apartment. Some houses are like that. Some are just 1 year and you have to renew yearly, and at the end of a year you don't have to pay the other fees again, so it will solely be rent. But it doesn't change the fact that the rent can actually get increased. So it is what it is. So one more factor to consider when you are making your budget is the location of where you are getting your apartment. If you are getting your apartment in major areas of the city, it's going to be more expensive, so you probably want to increase your budget a bit, especially if it is on the low side. And if you are getting your apartment in areas that are more conservative, you can seek to reduce your what you are looking for. And another thing you can do is actually to ask people around, like maybe your friends, your colleagues. Basically research. If you cannot find anybody around to give you such an information, you can check TikTok. I think you can basically check TikTok for literally anything these days, because you'll be surprised what people are making content about. So the next point you need to put in place is the type of apartment that you want. So for types, I'm talking about, do you want a new apartment, like a fresh apartment that is freshly built, or an old apartment that people have been staying there before now, or you probably want to get a self-con or a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom flat, depending on whatever type of apartment. Make a decision. See, all these points that I'm going to be mentioning in this video, they are interwoven, because when you are making your budget, you have to consider this too. If you want to get a 2 bedroom apartment, you cannot expect it for the price of one room. But funny thing is some apartments, because of different factors, such as maybe it is a new apartment, or maybe because of the area, you really need to weigh your options with all of these things. Make your decision that, okay, this is what I want to get, this is the area I want to get this thing, and this is the type of house I want to get. These are quite important, which leads me to my next point, which is area of apartment. An apartment in Yaba is much more expensive than apartment around Agege. An apartment on the island, VI, Lekki, is more expensive than apartments at Ikotun. Do you guys, are you seeing what I'm talking about? Apartments at Lekki Phase 1 is much more expensive than apartments at Ikorodu. So you want to know all of these things, decide the area. So when you are picking your area, I'm going to give you some pointers or highlighters to what you should note when you want to pick your area. Number one, your proximity to the major places you go to. For example, your place of work, your church, your major places you go to. Actually, like if you're somebody that go out often, where are the places you go to, which area are they located, weigh your options, really, because this thing is like a being balanced sort of thing. Because if you are quite far from where you are working, you might actually have to spend so much on transport, and the price you are running from, the time you calculate your transportation toll to that place of work, you'll be surprised and shocked. So you want to weigh all of these things because they are equally important, especially if you don't have a car, if you are not mobile, if you are not that mobile. So you really want to weigh all of your options like that, because you just don't want to jump into a decision and be frustrated, because Lagos traffic is a thing, not just a thing, even for short distances is a thing. It's your peace of mind, and at the same time weigh your options. What I mean by weigh your options, I've been saying it all these points. Your money is important. How much do you have to like rent? How much are you willing to like let go as rent? How much are you willing to spend on transport every day? How stressful are you willing to go every day when you're going to work, or when you are going to the important places that you love to go, and so on? You want to reflect on all of these points and many more depending on your peculiarities, so that you make a firm and reasonable decision at the end of the day that you will not have to regret. So the fourth point is to actually start asking around. You should start speaking up. If you get an agent, like that is one of the most effective way, because you're probably new to the area, you're probably new to the city, and you don't really know a lot of these things. So you just want to like get an agent, a good agent. Hopefully you get good agents, because this agents be moving weird. Most of them are selfish. Most of them just want to take you places and collect money for inspection fee, and you just keep paying money. A lot of them don't really care. But thankfully for me, the major agents that I used, which I did not even get this apartment through, I didn't get the apartment through him, funny enough. He was actually quite invested, and he really wanted to get us an apartment. Like, I don't know if it was a peculiar thing, maybe it was just us that got lucky with him, but that was my personal experience with him. So I'm going to be dropping the numbers, some agents number, like the ones I use, some of them that I know that okay, they are fair, they are not evil, they are not seeking to just exploit you and run away. I'm going to drop their number, like maybe 3 or 4, I don't know, depending, whatever you find in the pinned comments, that is it. But I'm going to share at least 3 for agents on the mainland. Please, I don't know any agent for island, please. The reason why I'm saying you should tell everybody around, especially your colleagues, your friends, anybody, even in church, tell people. Well, people that cares to listen. You'll not just awkwardly say it out loud. It's not like you're announcing to your work. Or if you can, please feel free by all means. You can even say it on Twitter, social media. You never can tell, but please be careful while you do that. Yes, everything is sensitive these days. You want to be careful, basically. So what I'm trying to say is that somebody might be ready to leave his or her apartment very soon, and is looking to like just move out. If you can get the apartment through such a person, the person can actually just tell the landlord or caretaker that okay, I'm taking his apartment, and they'll just be like, okay, it's still me that's paying it, but it's another person that is moving it. That way you don't have to pay for all this extra fee that I said is usually more than 25% of your rent. You don't have to pay such extra fee, because such extra fee can actually skyrocket your you people. I don't want to be giving out numbers because I've heard ridiculous prices. I've seen an apartment that was like 800k and the charges on it was like almost 500k. Like, make it make sense. Like, some people don't have the fear of God. How will I be paying extra because of things that I will most likely not see? Because all of these people say all these things you are paying for, you rarely see it, you rarely see it work. So what's now the point? What's the cocoa of the matter? If that does not work, you need to get an agent. Check out some of the ones I used that worked for me. Please, I will not be responsible for any sort of misunderstanding. Like, I'm washing my hands of it. So if you want to still go ahead with them, please feel free, because I had good experiences with them. That is why I'm putting it out and I'm leaving it at that, and that is it. And I really hope you guys, anybody that eventually use them, have good experience. I don't really see a reason why you should have any bad experience with any of the people I've shared. I'm just putting that out there as a disclaimer because I don't want anybody coming for my head in the nearest future. Thank you. The next point I want you to consider is the environment of the said apartment. Now you've gotten to different apartments, you are now having options. Now you are seeing potential home in this apartment. What else should you check for? Check the environment. Make sure you check for the peculiarity of each environment. What I mean is, if you have a car, check if it is a motorable space. I think that is just one of the things you would have to check for, especially if you're in a car. Car owners, they know about these things. Don't worry, you and I, that we are yet to have our own, we know about it soon. So you want to check if the area has good electricity. You want to know if they have light often. You don't want areas whereby it will be total blackout and you have to like put on gen. You want to check for water supply around the area. You want to check the area. You want to check the drainage system. Lagos drainage system is like this. It's very wobbly. It has coma. There are still better places. I'm saying all of these points based on my opinion because this is what I will look out for if I'm to get a new apartment. I want to see if, okay, when rain falls, hope it's not like flood will come in, hope it's not like the road will be so bad that I will not even be able to step out to go to work. So you also want to check for the security of that area. You want to know if it is a notorious area for armed robbers or street thugs, hoodlum, anything. Just check out for these things. Ask around, ask tenants that is already there. Like, ask them, ask people there, because you are the one that wants to pay for your money. Nobody, like, it is your money, nobody can tell you what to do with it. Even if the agent is looking weird or so, if you see anybody that you can ask, free open your mouth and ask. Go. So there's a trick I learned to use to check electricity in a particular area. So you get to that area, just make sure you look around and try to cite anybody that is selling water. It can be bottled water or even pure water. Just tell them you want cold water. That's the tea. So when you tell them you want cold water and you get the water, if the water is not that cold, ask them, since your water is not so cold, is it that see, before you even finish, this your water is not so good, they will want to defend themselves immediately. They'll be like, oh, it's the light, this the light, it's not me, it's not us, the light has not been that good. You use the opportunity to ask that, is it just now that thing happened? Is it like occasionally, or is something that happens frequently? Ask and confirm things like that. That's how you know. And if the water is very chilled, you can use the opportunity to just be like, oh, this your water is very nice, so that means the light in this your area is very good. You use the opportunity to ask. That is how you gauge if there is electricity, if the electricity is very good or is not good. And the best thing or easier option is to ask tenants, because you will ask this agent, sometimes they will just be lying. You will ask them that, how is this area? This area is very peaceful. See, this agent, oh my goodness, their mouth is very sweet. They will tell you something, you just, even if you are if you are a Thomas, if you doubt a lot, you will believe these people. You believe them. Their mouth is too sweet. I don't understand. So I'm just advising you to really take your time and explore your area, because you don't want to be told a lie, you don't want to be sold a lie, you want to stay and actually live with the lie. Explore the area as much as you can. You also want to check if the landlord is staying in the apartment with you guys, or it is something that there's a lot of rules that you really cannot cope with. Check and ask this question. Ask people around, ask the tenants around. If possible, research, do all forms of research. Check online, check whatever they are saying about that area online. Just search. You'll be surprised what information you find online. You never can tell. You can actually get very important and useful information that will save you a whole lot. There are actually some landlords, especially in places like Lagos, that comes up with weird rules, such as we don't take single people. Some will tell you we don't take people that are not working class. Usually that working class part is because they are scared that you won't get their rent paid, and sometimes some actually want to look down on you. Maybe if you have a remote job, they will just probably feel like that is not a real job. They will think that you are a scammer, you are an online scammer. They don't want to know that there are online jobs. They don't want to know that there are remote jobs. If you're not going out by 8 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning, you don't have a real job. You don't really want any form of problem for yourself. You don't want a situation whereby they tell you that there are some visitors you can't take. There are some visitors you can take. You'll be surprised at the rules that they are giving people out there. The most common one about the rules of these people, especially before you get an apartment, is that they don't want single women. So what people do, what I've heard and seen people do, is to get someone to actually come in for them and act like their spouse. Some will call them their fiancé, just to make it be like, okay, we are about to get married, babe, this, da da da, just for that man to sign, because I think you have to show up with your with a means of identification. So they will use that one to check if you're a man. You might be the one to pay for your rent, or in fact, most likely you'll still be the one to pay for your rent, but just to give an illusion of, oh, it's my man that bought the house, like that paid for the house. I don't know, they just don't want to see single women do things, because before you get married, what are you? Is it immediately when you are done at school that you get married? It's not everybody that's getting married immediately after school. Should you not just be bothered about if this person is able to pay my rent or not? Why are you really interested about their marital status? As long as they can pay, why are you interested? If you're a landlord that does this thing, wherever you are, change your ways. Or if you know anybody that is like that, tell them to change their ways, because it's a ridiculous behavior. Because what do you expect them to be living under the bridge? Because that thing is actually quite rampant, that it is being discussed, because you'll be surprised that a whole lot of landlords have this mindset that no, you cannot take single men. It's even worse when the person is a single mother. They don't just want to give you excuse, they just want to decide that no, this person is irresponsible, this person is wayward. With all due respect, as long as they are not bringing problem to you, what is really your business about? Whatever they do with their life. Sometimes you don't get to have all of these points, you don't get to like tick all of your boxes, but prioritize everything, because you might have to forgo some. I had something in mind, quite alright, but I had to like settle for something lesser. Not definitely lesser, because there were other things, there were other points that this apartment has. Eventually, it's still like a scale of preference thing. So that's basically it for this video. So I really hope you learned one or two things from this video. If you have other points concerning how to get a good apartment, please feel free to put it in the comment section. We love to learn from you. Give this video a thumbs up, send it to your friend, and tell him or her that you need to watch this video before you get an apartment in Lagos or any other place in Nigeria, because there are similar rules to these things. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.